Welcome to ARW. Now, the other day I did a review on a ToAuto compressor that is for scuba gear and air rifles for pumping them up to high pressure. And it had a few faults, and one of my viewers, I think it was Bruno Martini of Engineered 3D channel, said he'd like to see a teardown of this compressor. And I thought, well, in as much as I've got it and I need to see what's wrong with it, we're going to tear it down and give it a good looking over. Now, this is not the first time I've opened the case. I opened the case the other day and I wiggled around on the components and it worked. So that makes me think we've got a cold solder joint, and I think that the cold solder joint is on the relay. But let's go ahead and tear it down. It's only got about 5 million screws in it, but I've got an electric screwdriver, and we're going to take it apart and give it a good examination. Okay, now that I've got all the screws out of it, I've got to unscrew the bleed valve, and the cover will come right off. And with the cover off, we will attempt to see if we can figure out why this fan is working intermittently. And I'm going to move you guys around so you can see all the goodies inside, probably like that, and follow my finger. That right there is the relay for the fan, I believe so. And I'm going to put the card on this thing and we'll see if it starts up, if the fan starts running, because it was running for a while and then it quit. And maybe it'll run again here. Alright, got it plugged in there. Plug her in here. Fan's not running. Alright. Wiggling the relay didn't make it run. So, alright, let's just look at the parts of it anyway. Okay, this is the power supply, of course, and you can see this got power with the little lights on. This is the compressor, and around on the other side is the motor. Let's turn it around. There's the motor. Here's where you bleed it off. This has got your pressure switches and stuff there, and there's wires coming out of the back of here that go to the pressure switch. So that's how it knows when to turn off. I assume that well, I better not assume what that little line's for. So I'm going to play with it a little bit here, see if I can get electrocuted or anything. If I don't light my eyeballs up, maybe I'll find something loose that makes it work. I think I might have located the source of the problem. See that wire right there? That's the fan wire. After I fool around with it, there we go. Fan's back on. I think it's not a good connection in that connector. So I'll take that loose and try to see if I can get contact up on this other end. I'll trace the wire and see if I got continuity. That's the word I was looking for. See if I got continuity when I wiggle it. Well, they put silicone seal on all these connectors apparently to keep them connected, and I think that's what did the thing in, was the silicone got between the connection and the connector. Let's plug it in. Hear that fan going? That connector, I think, had a lot of silicone in the connection. Yes, sir, I believe that connection had a lot of silicone in it. Let's take a little tour of this thing. I'll turn it around here. I didn't figure out a whole lot, but I did figure out a few things. The DC connection is coming in here, goes through this fuse and goes on up here to the power supply. All right, and the positive connects one of the positive terminals and the negative to one of the negative terminals. Now those terminals are all interconnected and they share their voltage. So when you use the DC connection, the power supply never turns on. You're just running entirely off of whatever comes in through this connection. But if you hook it up to AC, then the AC wires, they go up here to the power supply, to the line in and neutral and sort of thing. And the power supply turns on and produces the 12 volts. And either way, the 12 volts comes down off these connections, goes to the circuit board, goes to the motor, goes through the relay over there. And that little circuit board, it's got a lot of tiny little chips on it. I could never have figured that out if the problem was on it. But let's crank her up again. I bet this thing will run perfect from now on, or at least for a significantly long time. I forgot which end to plug it in. I turned the thing around, didn't I? All right. Blowing a regular hurricane on that compressor. Of course, it's not going to pump up any pressure because there's no hose or anything on it. There you have it. It was actually a pretty simple problem. It wasn't a cold solder joint. It was a connector full of silicon seal. But now then, it's going to be a great compressor and run just right. You know, this thing made me think about the secret life of Walter Mitty. Now this was a story. They may have made a movie about it. I don't know, but it was a short story when I read it. And Walter Mitty is an average guy that's, you know, he's got nothing stands out except he daydreams a lot, you know. And so one of the things he was daydreaming about is he's in this surgery thing, heart surgery or something, and this very critical pump fails. And he saves the day because he takes the cap off of his ballpoint pen, or fountain pen, whichever, off of his pen, let's say. And he makes a new piston for it, put in the pump, and saves the patient's life, you know. And what gets me is, in the story, the sound of the compressor was kind of paka, 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 and that's what this guy sounds like. That's why it reminded me of that. It was just the sound of it. Let's listen to it again. Maybe that's a little faster than the Walter Mitty story, or maybe it's not. But there you go. Now then, I can actually recommend this compressor to my viewers because there was not a design problem. There wasn't actually faulty equipment. There was just a connection that they put too much silicon seal on and insulated it. Okay? Now, I'm going to, in the next week or so, I'm going to put a new video on my other channel. And when I do, whatever video I've got, I'll put a link down below it. But I just want to warn you guys, it's coming.